If you guys could take your seats, we'll begin. So welcome to the 2022 University of Findlay Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony. My name is David Buck. I'm an Associate Athletic Director here at the University of Findlay and also chair our Hall of Fame committee. We're very excited to be holding this event again. We were unable to last year, and we've got a great class this year. So before we move forward, I'd like to welcome our university president, Dr. Fell, to the stage for a few remarks.
Thank you for being here this morning. We are delighted to be back celebrating our renowned alumni and supporters. You make the University of Findlay what it is. And I take the blame for the things that go wrong, but you don't, because you are fantastic and we couldn't be here without you. So thank you for your support of our programs and our athletic department. It is one of the best in D2 athletics throughout the country, let me assure you, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. So thank you for being a part of it. Have a great morning.
Thank you, Dr. Fell. This time I'd like to welcome our Assistant Athletic Director, Kyle Neerman, to the stage for our invocation.
Would you bow your heads with me in prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, whose blessings fill our lives every day, thank you for bringing all of us here safely today to celebrate with the 2022 Findlay Athletic Hall of Fame class. We ask that you watch over us on this special day as we reminisce with family and friends and memorialize the tremendous accomplishments of our inductees. We also ask that you bless this food that we are about to receive. Let it be a reminder of all of your blessings and how fortunate we are to all be here in this place, sharing in this meal and in this event together. In your name we pray, amen.
So at this time, our catering staff will release you table by table for the buffet line. And then once we get all settled back in here, we'll begin with our inductions. Thank you. Our first inductee today is a former women's basketball player. It's been a pretty long time coming. It's probably overdue that she gets in, but Tammy Nelson ranks third all-time at Findlay with 392 career assists, and her 1,195 career points is the 13th highest mark in school history. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our newest member of the Athletic Hall of Fame, Tammy Nelson.
As you get older, you need these glasses, so. Good afternoon. I would first like to say what an honor it is to be inducted into the University of Findlay Athletic Hall of Fame. I would like to start off by thanking all of you who had a hand in my induction. The Hall of Fame Committee, thank you. All of the other inductees, Julie, Brian, Cara, and Lifetime Achievement winners, John and Pam Beale, congratulations, and what an honor it is going into the Hall of Fame class of 2022 with all of you. I would also like to thank the University of Findlay and my late college coach, Cheryl Neff, and assistant coach, Sherry Hare, for giving me the opportunity to continue not only my education, but also my aspirations of playing college basketball. Another thanks to Julie, who I was fortunate to play with here at the University of Findlay. I would also like to thank my high school coaches that had such a huge impact on my career, who helped shape me into who I am today. Coach Howard Stevens and mentor Gil Guerrero, who helped me to strive to be the best I could be every day. I would like to thank my family and friends who are here today to show their support and love for this amazing honor. My mother, Joan, who spent endless hours at all of my games and made countless sacrifices for me. She really was an inspiration, raising 6 children, working endless hours, so that her sacrifices would be our rewards. My sister Michelle, who also played basketball here at the University of Findlay, and her husband Brian. My nephew Tony Cara, who also is a member of the Findlay Athletic Hall of Fame. And of course, my family. My son Casey and fiance Sierra, 3 kids, Carter, Boston, and Emmy. My 2 lovely daughters, McKenna, who is 14, and Carissa, 12. Last but not least, my husband, Sean Nelson, who also has ties to the university, as he has been the head wrestling coach for the past 25 years. When I think back 30 years ago, I can't remember all of the big plays I made or the scores of all my games. If it wasn't for the university, I would even be able to tell you most of my stats. What I do remember is the hard work and dedication that went into every practice and every day. If you can do that over and over, the stats will take care of themselves. And I can honestly say that I hold no regrets. Did we win every game? No. Did I make every basket? No. Did I make mistakes? Probably more than I can care to count. But what I can say is this: there was never a time where I didn't give it my all. As I go through life with my own children playing sports, I always have tried to tell them, leave it on the court, give it your all, and all the time. You never want to look back and regret not doing your best. As you get older, time passes by you, You never want to look back and feel as if you have cheated yourself or you have cheated your teammates. Work as hard as possible, lay it on the line, and whatever happens, happens. Knowing you can hold your head up high and walk away with no regrets. I wasn't perfect, but I had no regrets, and that is what I am most proud of. Again, I want to thank all of you and congratulate all the inductees of the class of 2022. Thank you, and God bless.
Our second inductee is another former women's basketball player, Julie Riegel. Julie is one of only 3 women's basketball players at the University of Findlay to have achieved 1,000 career points and 700 career rebounds. She ranks 11th all-time with 1,239 points, and her 710 rebounds is the 4th best all-time. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Riegel.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank the University of Findlay and David Buck for putting on this event today. When I look back at the time that I spent here at the University of Findlay, I have nothing but fond memories. I grew up on a farm about 45 minutes from here with 5 older brothers. And when you grow up with 5 older brothers, you learn 3 things. How to eat fast, or you got nothing to eat. How to run fast, because brothers often get angry at annoying little sisters. And I also learned how to play barn ball. And so I found out that I loved the game of basketball. I remember making my dad move all the machinery out of the barn in the dead of winter so I could practice. I quickly realized that I wanted to continue to play after high school, so I decided on the University of Findlay. It was one of the best decisions of my life. I had the privilege to be surrounded by great teammates, such as Susan Deeds and Kelly Murray and Janet Schilling, just to name a few. Susan and I were often matched up against each other in practice and box-out drills, and I'd come away with so many bruises, but we ended up being the best friends, and we still are to this day. It was so much fun playing with so many talented athletes, but most of all, we were great friends, and we had so many laughs together, even after we all got thrown out of practice once right before Christmas break because we were all practicing. It was so bad. Remember, Kelly? While I was here, we got to travel to holiday tournaments in New York City and Chicago. Those were the first time that this girl from the country ever got to go to a big city, so that was a great experience for me. The late Coach Cheryl Neff was a great teacher of the game, and I learned a great deal from her. And when I went on and coached at Macomb, she was a big influence in my coaching styles and philosophies. I am thankful for all the great coaching that I had and my wonderful teammates that I played with. But most of all, I'm truly thankful for the support of my parents. They were my biggest fans and supporters, and I don't think they ever missed a game, home or away. I am very honored to be standing here today with the rest of the inductees of the class of 2022, and it's a privilege to be here with all of you. Go Oilers. Thank you.
Our third inductee today is former baseball star Brian Samsel. Brian was a 3-time All-GLIAC selection and earned All-Region honors twice. He holds a number of school records and ranks in the top 5 in almost every offensive category. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Samsel.
I just want to say what an honor it is to be elected into the Hall of Fame. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for electing me with this wonderful class. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. With everything that's going on in the world today, it does mean a lot to me that you're able to take time out of your day to be here with us and show your support. First, I want to thank my parents, Jim and Candy, for setting the standard growing up. For me, being the oldest of three, I had a lot of expectations to live up to. I needed to learn from their examples to be a role model for my brother and sister. And I think for the most part I did, but my brother and sister may beg to differ with that. I'm also blessed to have had a dad who was into sports and was able to share his talents with me. I used to hear stories when I was younger at the softball diamonds of how great a ball player my dad was. I can remember going to Lake Park Softball Complex in Coshocton, Ohio, watching my dad play. My mom would always cringe at the fact that she would have 3 sets of clothes to clean after we would get back from Dad's games. You see, my dad played the game really hard, which meant he got dirty a lot. Well, my brother and myself looked up to him growing up, and every time he would hustle to take an extra base and slide, my brother and myself would have to slide in the dirt as well, just to be like him. Some of his buddies used to urge us on as well, and you could just see my mom rolling her eyes because she knew there was nothing that she could say or do that was going to stop us. What I remember most, though, was that he played a lot of double headers, and that meant he would have a lot of time in between games for us to hit balls on the field while he would be able to pitch to us. As my brother and I grew older, the balls started going farther and farther into the outfield, and you can see the joy on his face when he would hit the balls harder, or we would hit the balls harder and farther in the outfield. That's when I knew growing up that baseball was going to be the sport that I would enjoy the most. Thankfully, my athletic abilities did not come from my mom. I can remember the only time that she actually pitched to me. I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I asked her if she could pitch to me one day down at the bottom of our hill. After about 5 or 6 pitches, she wasn't anywhere close to the plate, but she finally managed to get one across the plate, and I crushed it. Unfortunately for her, it busted her right in the shin, and she was like, "I'm done. You'll have to wait for your dad to come home to finish." I just stood there, started throwing the ball up and down, trying to hit it as I watched her hobble back up the hill. What my mom was able to teach me growing up, though, was to have faith in God. I can say that I spent a lot of my childhood going to church on Sundays. And as I grew older, I became more involved with our youth group, and she was a leader of that youth group. The one thing she'll always be remembered for would be for her cookies. I would always be asked how I wasn't like over 300 pounds growing up, but I guess that's why I played 3 sports, so I could be able to work those things off. My teammates would always ask if my parents were coming to any of our games because they knew there would be cookies after the game. There's not a day that goes by that I think about my times here at the University of Findlay. I learned a lot of lessons in my 5 years here, and I cannot thank everyone enough for everything that they've done for me. I've had the opportunity to be blessed to be with great teammates and coaches. Some of my best memories revolve being around with them on and off the diamond. From lifting workouts at 7 a.m. to early work at 2 p.m. to get ready for 3-hour practices at 3:30. I learned a lot from the upperclassmen as an incoming freshman. They laid the foundation as what it is to be an Oiler and the work that needs to go into perfecting my craft to be a good teammate. After my freshman year, or after my redshirt year, there was a lot of opportunity for myself to become a leader early on with a lot of our seniors that had just graduated. On our spring break trip to Florida, my freshman year, I got to see something that I remembered seeing when I was a kid growing up, watching my dad play softball. You see, the late coach, Troy Berry, grew up in my hometown and played ball with my dad as well. I remember that he played the game with a lot of passion and was very fiery. Even with the condition that he was in, he brought the same intensity as a head coach. That year, the NCAA put in a new sliding rule for sliding into second base so that you had to slide directly into the base, or you're not allowed going from one side or the other. Well, I guess the umpires that we had for that game were actually minor league umpires, just getting some early work in before their minor league season started, and they weren't aware of the new rules that were in play. Well, there was a ground ball that was hit to our second baseman, and he flipped the ball to our shortstop as there was a runner on first base. The shortstop tried to clear himself from the bag to throw to me at first base. Well, our shortstop was taken out by the runner sliding into second base, who was way off the bag. And in that play, the runner running the first was actually safe, and the throw had taken me off the bag. Before I could turn around from retrieving the ball, Coach Berry was already in the face of the umpire out at second base, telling him that it wasn't right, and that the runner at first should be out as well for slide interference. Well, the umpire disagreed with Coach Berry, and that's when he turned his hat around And that's when that fire and passion came out to defend one of his players. He had a few choice words at the time and was tossed from the game. I knew right then I was playing for the right coach. I knew that he would have my back if I ever needed it, and I always remember him for how much he loved the game. What I admired most about Coach Barry was that he didn't let his disease affect his day when he was around us. I truly believe that him being around us on a daily basis was what kept him going for as long as he did. Since I was lucky enough to know him when I was younger, he brought a sense of home here at the University of Findlay. He was the main reason I chose to come to this great university and play baseball for him. It was a pleasure to have him as a coach, but more importantly, he was a great role model on how to take life one day at a time and appreciate everything that you've worked so hard for. I wish that he could have been here with us today, but I know that he is with us here in spirit. My favorite experience playing here at the University of Findlay was when we made the conference tournament my junior year. That was also my best season playing as well. We had a big senior class that year, which was most of the guys that I came into college with, and we had a lot of great talent that year. We started the season off slow down in Savannah, Georgia. However, we returned from our spring break trip and things got better. We were able to string a lot of wins together, which led us to setting the record for team wins in a season that still stands today. When we made it to the conference tournament, we lost our first game, but made it through the losers bracket and make it back to the championship game. Unfortunately, we fell short in that game, but there was satisfaction for getting as far as we did. Next, I'd like to thank my wife, Amber. We met here in school and developed a great friendship that turned into marriage years later. We've been married for 10 years now and have 2 beautiful children. She is my rock, and she's my biggest support while I was in school and playing ball. She would make it to the most of our games to cheer us on. We've now been blessed now with having 2 wonderful kids who we get to watch grow up right before our eyes. I get the opportunity to get to do things with our kids that my parents had the same opportunities to do with me. If my kids can take one thing from me, is that if you want something of yourself, make something of yourself, you need to put in the time and work hard to get whatever you want in life. Again, I want to thank everybody who has helped me to get where I am today. Your support has meant a lot to me, and I'm forever grateful for everything you have done. Thank you, and go Oilers.
Our fourth inductee is former volleyball standout Cara Williams. Cara earned all-region honors 3 times during her career and led the Oilers to 4 GLIAC South Division championships and 3 appearances in the NCAA Division II National Tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, Cara Williams.
So mine's not going to be as long as the story because David told me I only had 1 to 2 minutes. So I'm going to keep it sweet for all of you. So first off, I wanted to thank all of you here for this award. This is a very prestigious award, and I'm honored to be grouped with this select group of people. I want to thank my parents. They came to every game, whether it was away or home, for 4 straight years. I don't think they missed a single game. I want to thank my family for coming because they skipped what they could have been doing today, basketball games, basketball practice, volleyball practice, to be here with me today. I want to thank my former teammates for coming out and supporting me today. And I want to thank Coach Wick and Coach Foster at the time for taking a chance with me. I wouldn't have considered myself a high school volleyball standout. I was more of an athletic, coachable 3-sport player. I didn't play club volleyball. When I actually came to Findlay, I had no idea what they were talking about in practice. They were doing quick sets and ABC, 1, 2, 3, and I looked at this other girl and I'm like, what are they doing? I have no idea what they're doing. So I want to thank Coach Wick for taking a chance on me. Him and Coach Foster put a lot of work into me the first couple years of my time at Findlay, and they made me the player that I was. I was talking with my former teammates earlier today, and we got to experience a lot over the 4 years at Findlay. This group of girls was an awesome group of ladies. We traveled all over the country. We got to experience our first plane flight, or at least that was my first plane flight. We went whitewater rafting. We drove to Nebraska for a tournament. And when I say we drove. We drove the whole way. I don't recall even sleeping in a hotel that trip. We went to California and we got to look at trees, lots of trees, redwood trees. We climbed mountains in Colorado. We did a bunch of things that I never would have had the opportunity to do. Another thing is I want to mention that I didn't get this award on my own. A hitter is only as good as their setter and their back row players. I was never the back row superstar like these two ladies over here. So I would say they and the setters made me who I am today. So I had some pretty amazing teammates over the 4 years, and they helped me become the player that I was. So a special thank you to my amazing teammates that are here supporting me. And again, I thank you guys for this opportunity, and I'm proud to be a member of this group with the select few that were honored today. Thank you.
Our final inductees of the afternoon, morning, whatever we are right now, is our 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award winners, John and Pam Beale. John has been a big supporter of Oilers athletics for a while now, and especially our golf programs. And Pam's had a long and distinguished career at Marathon as an executive. So, Pam?
Thank you, David. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I feel like a poser next to all these true athletes that are up here getting terrific awards. Congratulations to all of the inductees. And thank you, David and committee, for this opportunity to be recognized. So again, I feel like one of these kids that gets an award just for showing up. We've really been supporters of the athletic program, not really the athletes, but we're excited to be a part of it. So I'm accepting this honor today on behalf of my husband, John, who couldn't be with us today. Our relationship with the University of Findlay goes back more than 50 years. Yeah, 50 years. My mother, Jessica Moses, and John's father, William Beale, who was fondly known as Bing Beale, both graduated from Findlay College. So we have an endowed scholarship for business students in honor of my parents, and we have a golf scholarship in honor of John's father. So John and I were both very fortunate to grow up in loving, supportive families with parents who really valued education. They supported values of integrity, trust, respect, and taught us the value also of investing in the communities in which we work and live. John excelled in all sports growing up: baseball, softball, basketball, football, but the sport that he still enjoys today is golf. John and his family enjoyed golf and followed Coach Al Baker and the University of Findlay golf team for over 3 decades, walking many golf courses and following the team. After John's father passed away, Coach Baker named the Fall Classic Golf Tournament the Bing Beale Classic in honor of John's father. And we still support this tournament today, which has grown to one of the most well-attended collegiate golf events in Division II and NCAA. Teams come from all over the country to participate in this event. Casey Petty Miller, who's with us today, stand up and wave your hand, Casey. Casey was the first female golfer to receive the Beale Golf Scholarship, and she did not waste this investment in her. She's a scholar athlete and the University of Findlay's first female golfer, and I emphasize first because we expect there will be more, to qualify and play in the Women's U.S. Golf Tournament, Women's U.S. Open. So all this takes us to the indoor golf practice facility. The winter storm that we continue to experience here today is a great reminder of the need to have a place for the teams to practice. The conference wraps up in April, and as we experienced in 2021, there was still snow on the ground in April when Dom came to us to talk with us about kicking off a fundraising event for the golf practice facility. So while John and I were the lead donors to bring Coach Dom's vision to reality and bring this new facility to life, have been joined by over 150 and counting, 150 large and small donors, alumni, parents, work colleagues, and members of the community. And to all those who've helped us make this happen, I say thank you on behalf of John and me. I also want to thank Chad Vorst and Jim Vorst and their teams who transformed that facility, and I hope you all get a chance to see it because it's truly special. Thank you to Dom Guarneri for the vision, to Brandy Larita and Dr. Fell for your leadership at the University of Findlay, and for dedicating the space to make this facility available to the team. And finally, I want to thank John's sister, Jody Beale O'Brien, and her family, and Alex Kahn, my niece, for being here today to help celebrate the Beale investment in the University of Findlay, which are truly investments in future athletes and scholars. I'm going to wrap up with one of my favorite reflections that I've read on a life well lived. And you can think of a life well lived in 3 parts. The first part of your life is learning. Learning from your parents, learning at institutions, learning on the job. The second third is earning. Earning a living, earning trust, earning the opportunity to lead teams, to lead organizations, and lead your family. And the last third of a life well lived is returning. Returning your time, returning your treasure to your family, your community, and to future generations. Learning, earning, and returning. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to welcome our Vice President for Student Affairs and Director of Athletics, Brandy Larita, to the stage for some closing comments.
Thank you, David. And David, I would be remiss to say thank you for putting on such a wonderful event. You and your staff, Kyle, Meredith, all that you've done to make this possible. The snow, made it a little bit more difficult. David never wavers, one of the most consistently calm people I know, and said, it'll be fine. Relax. So here we are today. And today is one of the days in the athletic calendar that doesn't matter what the score is. As our calendar fills up, we usually are worried about stats and wins and losses. But today's really about memories. There weren't many comments today about a game-winning shot, a home run, or a game full of kills, but more about the memories and relationships made here at the University of Findlay. And that's really what our collegiate athletics experience is about. The road trips, the things that people say now that we laugh, at the time somebody probably cringed and worried about the liability. But we can look back now and think about all of the fun times that each of you had here. The impact that you had not just on your teammates, but on this campus that lives on today. Your photos are around campus. I think every one of you has a photo somewhere. And the experiences that you had have helped shape the experience we can provide today for our student athletes. So I say thank you. To the Beals for all that you've given the athletic program. Beyond your treasures, but really your time and your passion have been so impactful to us. And I thank you for that today and always. I hope that each of you will come back and join us, not just on special occasions like this, but at a volleyball game, a basketball game, or come out to the Cube and watch us play baseball. Because it's really important that you are still impacting our current student athletes. For them to have mentors and leaders as you all are, and someone to look up to is what we strive to do every day for our student athletes. So thank you. I say congratulations to all of you. I hope you enjoy the day. As we wrap up here, please come up and take pictures. Kyle's in the back. He's got a camera with your friends, family, and all that are here so we can commemorate this special day. And we look forward to seeing all of you in Croy Physical Education Center and Nikkei Arena for the basketball games today so we can recognize you in front of a whole different group of Oiler fans. So congratulations, enjoy the day, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Brandy. And that concludes the ceremony. If you guys want to come up and take some pictures with your families, friends, go right ahead. Thank you.